What is up, bros? Care to Math. Thanks for tuning in. We are going to be working on today simplifying radicals. This is 6.1 in our book. So what we need for this is we need one of these lists of perfect squares and cubes and fourths and fifths. So all of you have this. I've given this to you. If you lost it, don't worry. I put it on Google Classroom for you there. These two examples, we're going to deal with the x to the third column, the x squared column. So if we look over here, say what's up to my Uncle Billy. He's on the skateboard here heading to work. Just kidding. I don't have an Uncle Billy. That's all right, though. So if we look at number one, first thing we want to do when we simplify radicals is a key step here. All right, so what I want to do is I'm going to split this up into the cube root of 750, and the other one I'm going to split up into is the cube root of x to the eighth. And the reason I do that is it's just going to make my life a little bit easier. Now what we can do is we can go to this list. We want to work with this middle column here where it says x to the third at the top. And I'm trying to figure out which one of these numbers can I divide into 750 so that I can split 750 up into a perfect cube and a non-perfect cube. So what that looks like on this sheet is over here on the left, I'm just going to make two blank radicals. And in one of these is going to be a perfect cube, and one there's going to be something that we can't simplify anymore. So how do we figure this out? Well, we just take this list and we start dividing numbers on this list, that middle column, into 750. So for example, I could take 750 and divide 512 into it, see if it breaks it down, or 343, see if it breaks it down, right? So we could go through, keep going, just try and test it out on our calculator, but then you would come to 750 divided by 125. Any before this won't work. Once you get to this one, you'll figure out that this is 6, which is exactly what we're looking for. Now what we can do is we can split this up into 125 and 6. Because 125 we can simplify, 6 we cannot. What I mean by that is this. What's the cube root of 125? You can look at your list. Or you can memorize it like me. It's 5. And then we get the cube root of 6. We can't simplify that anymore. So that's all we can do. I'm going to actually get this out a little further so we can see. So we split this up into cube root of x to the eighth. So now what we want to do is we want to deal with the x to the eighth. We're going to do something similar here. What I want you to think about is, where did x to the eighth come from? So what we're trying to do is we're trying to split this up, kind of like we did with the numbers, into x to the something and x to the something, where if we multiply these two radicals, it will get us back to x to the eighth. But also what we need is we need one of the exponents to be divisible by 3. So what do I mean by that? Well, let's think of numbers that are divisible by 3. Well, we have 3, 6, 9. The two that we're going to use are 6 and 3. So I could split this up into 3 and 5. That's not going to help me out, though. What I want to do is I want to split this up into 6 and 2. Here's why. Because 6 divided by 2, 6 divided by 3 is just 2. And 2 is less than 3. So notice how the index, this thing right here, the index, that's 3. And my exponent right here is 2. So I can't simplify that at all, so we just leave it. Now all we have to do is take everything that's on the outside and put it together. So the 5 and the x squared, and everything that's on the inside of the radical, I'm going to put those together. So I'm going to get 5x squared, and then the cube root of 6x squared. And we have our answer. So that's for example 1 there. So hopefully you're starting to see that. And now if you want to, you can try number 2. You can pause the video. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to head over here to number 2. And now what we're doing is we're not dealing with cube roots, but we're actually dealing with square roots. So now we want to use this column right here, right? The x squared column. These you might have memorized from the 8th grade. If you don't, it might be a good idea to do it. So what I'm looking for now is I'm going to split this up into the square root of 75, right? We're using square roots, not cube roots anymore. And I'm going to split this up into r to the third. Now what we're doing, same process that we did with the cubes. We take this, split it up into the square root of something, square root of something. One of those somethings has to be a perfect square. One of them cannot be a perfect square. So looking at this list, which one of these numbers goes into 75? Well, if you think about it, it can't be 100, can't be 81, can't be 64, can't be 49, 36. Well, wait a minute. 25 is looking pretty good. Why don't we try that one? So if you have a calculator, take 75, divide 25 into it, and you'll notice that you'll get 3. So I'm going to split this up into 25 and 3, right? Because 75 divided by 25 is 3. 25 is a perfect square. It's on that list. So square root of 25 is just 5. Square root of 3, I can't do. I'm going to get a decimal, so I'm just going to leave that. Over here, now, inside here, you're not seeing a number, right? The one over here, it was a 3. We could see that clearly. However, what have I been saying? It's a square root, right? Square root means that there's a 2 in here. So what we need is we need to split this up into r to the something and r to the something so that we get a number divisible by 2. Well, what's inside of a 3 that's going to be divisible by 2? Split this up into r squared and r to the first, right? Because r squared times r to the first, what's that equal to? That equals r to the third. So if I was to multiply these back together, everything would work out fine. I'd be good. What is 2 divided by 2? Ask yourself that question. 2 divided by 2 is just 1, or r to the first. I can't simplify this r, so that just stays in there. Same thing that we were doing before. Now everything on the outside goes together, so 5r, and everything on the inside, that's going to stay together, so 3r. And we have ourselves an answer, folks. And that, my friends and family, is how we simplify radicals. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope it helped. Let me know if you have any questions.